Well, the Biden administration finally decided to do something about the Houthi terrorists that have been attacking ships in the Red Sea and launching missiles at U.S. naval vessels. So they launched a few strikes against the Houthi terrorists and some of their assets, and a lot of people on the left have been getting very upset about this, particularly that he did this without congressional approval. It's kind of insane to me that people even attempted to make this argument that he actually needs congressional approval to launch strikes of this kind. He very obviously doesn't. Everything he did was totally in line with the War Powers Resolution, which simply states that he needs to notify Congress within 48 hours after doing something like this. So I don't even know why they attempted to make this argument. This wasn't him trying to declare war or enter the United States into a war, anything like that. Even that, he would probably have the ability to do. He would just have to get congressional approval, and if he didn't get it within like 60 days, he would have to remove the troops. But there were some people that went even further than that. They weren't just upset that he didn't get congressional approval. They were upset that these strikes happened at all. They think the strikes themselves were immoral, and that we should just let Houthi terrorists disrupt trade in one of the most important shipping lanes on Earth without any response at all. Now, I've seen quite a few people saying this type of thing. Probably most notably, there's Hassan Piker, who seems to think that the Houthis are actually the good guys, but I've seen a lot of people responding to him and beating him up over that. So I thought we would take a listen to Anna Kasparian and get her opinion on this.
The reason why you see militant groups like Hezbollah or the Iran backed Houthi rebels attacking cargo ships and like the Red Sea, and the reason why they're engaging in this behavior is because they see what's happening in Gaza and they want it to stop. So rather than maybe getting Israel to reconsider how it's carrying out this war in Gaza, the United States has decided to carry out military strikes on behalf of Israel.
So she's like, yeah, they are attacking cargo ships in the Red Sea and stuff, but they've got a pretty good reason to do it, you know? They're just upset that Israel is conducting this war in a brutal fashion. Well, a couple of counterpoints to that. First off, Israel's not conducting this war in an overly brutal fashion. They are being careful. They are taking civilian lives into account. They're trying to minimize collateral damage as much as they can. Secondly, let's just say Israel hadn't killed any civilians at all, that they had like magic weapons and they weren't killing any civilians, they were just wiping out Hamas. Do you think that that would not upset the Houthis and Hezbollah? Do you think they'd be cool with that? And they'd be like, oh, okay, well, Israel's just wiping out Hamas. That's fine with us. We're not going to attack ships now or do terrorist stuff now. No, no, of course they wouldn't. They would be just as mad as they are right now. They actually don't give a crap about the civilians, Anna. They don't give a shit about collateral damage, Anna. These people are fucking terrorists, Anna. They don't care about that. They're upset that Hamas is losing the war. They're upset because those are their brothers in arms and they agree with what Hamas did on October 7th. They want them to win. They want them to defeat Israel. They're mad and they're doing this stuff because Hamas is losing. And nothing would change at all if they hadn't killed a single civilian.
And this could this is already an escalation and it could further escalate from here. And what I'm concerned about is that we're going to be fully involved in yet another endless regional war with multiple different countries involved. And it's just not a good sign at all.
Oh, and then she does this thing about, oh, we're escalating the war. We're escalating the war and expanding it out. Pretty soon it's going to be World War III. We're going to be at war with Iran. This is not a freaking war. They did a few strikes. He blew up some rat shit little pirates in Yemen. This is not entering us into World War III. This is not escalating us into war with Iran. If anything, this is de-escalating that crap. If you sat back and did nothing, they would continue to push the boundary and see how far they could get until they did something really major, like blow up a US ship. And then we would be at war with Iran or something like that.
President Joe Biden said the strikes, which were supported by Australia, Bahrain, Canada, and the Netherlands, targeted areas used by Houthi rebels to endanger freedom of navigation in one of the world's most vital waterways. Ray, this is about Israel's economic interests. And,
Oh my God, did you catch that? Did you see her snickering at the idea that they did these strikes in order to protect freedom of navigation through one of the most vital waterways in the world? And then she goes on to claim that we're really doing this to protect Israel's economic interests. We're doing this to protect everyone's economic interests. We are actually doing that in order to protect freedom of navigation through the Red Sea. I know that that's like unimaginable to these people, that that's something important and something we should do, and we shouldn't just let pirates decide when they can shut down a shipping lane. That's obviously why they conducted these strikes. I think anyone with half a brain could understand that they conducted these strikes in order to protect the freedom of trade through the Red Sea.
The Houthi rebels have been holding these ships captive in response to what Israel's been doing to Palestinian civilians in Gaza. Again, there's a non-military solution to this, but seems to be the case that the US isn't interested in carrying that out.
And then she finally ends this by just repeating the lie that the reason the Houthis are doing this is because they're super concerned about the civilians in Gaza. They're really upset about the collateral damage in Gaza. Hamas doesn't care about the collateral damage in Gaza. The Houthis don't. Neither does Hezbollah. These people are all terrorists. I don't know why I'm repeating myself here. I guess because she did. But terrorists don't care about civilian casualties, Anna. They don't. I guess I'll just wrap this up by saying I completely agree with these strikes. I think that they were totally justified and necessary. And if anything, they were far too late in taking this action. They should have done this much sooner. And the strikes probably should have been much more extensive and aggressive than they were. But whatever, I'll take what I can get. We are dealing with the Biden administration here, so I guess this is the best we can hope for. Thanks for watching and have a good night.